You should hear what keeps him up at night.
This is what keeps me up at night. I don't understand how my fellow Americans, I don't even understand how this election is close. And yes, I'm voting for you, but I would also vote for that wall over there.
Well, he's half right. We do need a wall. You know, to keep out gang members, fentanyl dealers, human traffickers, and Anna Navarro. What's funny, though, is that Stern actually thought that was a compliment. Stern has become such a wussified sycophant, he doesn't realize that telling Kamala that he'd vote for a wall is telling her that he knows she's as dumb as one.
Howard Stern built his empire on shock, rebellion, and smashing the establishment. But when Greg Gutfeld took aim at the king of controversy, Stern went silent, dead silent. No comeback, no fury, just awkward silence that echoed louder than words. In a jaw-dropping live moment, Gutfeld didn't just question Stern's change, he exposed it as a full-blown sellout. The rebel became the system and Gutfeld lit the fuse. What happens when the uncensored icon gets out-rebelled on his own turf? Have a look.
That's how Stern can call snacking with celebs at a fancy restaurant exhausting. Exhausting. Like he finished the overnight shift in a coal mine. Or hearing Kat talk about her pets.
Fair.
But I get it, life is tough, especially when you've been cut off from the world for 2 years in a $20 million beach house. I mean, you have no idea how tiring it is walking all the way from the wine cellar to the tennis court and
some TV moments come and go, forgotten in seconds. But then there are those rare explosions that crash into pop culture like a meteor, blazing, loud, and impossible to ignore. The fiery showdown between Greg Gutfeld and Howard Stern on live TV was exactly that. This wasn't just a shouting match. It was a full-on cultural collision. Two media titans from completely different worlds collided, and only one walked away looking like he still belonged. Among the stars, Howard Stern has worn the crown of king of all media for decades.
It's incredibly brave to take this stance after you've made $300–400 million not being woke, right? Loving Donald Trump, exploiting the mentally ill, wearing blackface. Look at the crop of woke comments, whether it's Stern or Jimmy Kimmel, his BFF, Sarah Silverman, Joy Behar, Michael Ian Black. What do they all have in common? They wore blackface. And then they went woke. It's not a chicken or egg thing there. You know what order it came. So I call this BFR. It's blackface reparations. There's nothing in Stern's previous career that could withstand this modern witch hunt that he now embraces. So this is a form of restitution. Maybe he says, you know, if I'm woke too, the crocodile will eat me last. But they always do eat. But I get it. He flipped from populist to elitist because now he's with elitists.
If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you're always in the loop. Once hailed as the king of shock radio, Howard Stern rose to fame by pushing boundaries no one else would touch. He was the wild, unapologetic voice of defiance, the raw truth-teller for a generation tired of playing by the rules. His name became synonymous with chaos, rebellion, and controversy. People either adored him or despised him. But ignoring him, that wasn't an option. Yet here's the twist with Rebel Kings. Stay too long on top, and the crown begins to dull. Over the years, Stern began to shift. Gradually, subtly, but undeniably.
I will say this, Dagan. I thank God for Howard Stern because he does make me feel normal by comparison. Because I'm like the Fox recluse. I don't do anything. I don't go anywhere. But he makes me look like, you know, Pete Davidson on a...
Yeah, he's a germaphobe. Like, his wife rescues cats. That's her job, apparently, her thing. But you can get toxoplasmosis.
That's true.
Cryptosporidiosis.
AIDS.
And
no, you can't.
No,
but
you can't get.
No, you can't.
But you can get.
I mean, what are the chances I get that again?
Like,
From rebel shock jock to polished celebrity interviewer, Howard Stern has shifted from tearing down the system to rubbing shoulders with Hollywood's inner circle. The man once known for on-air outbursts now often comes across as a carefully staged talk show presence. And Greg Gutfeld noticed it, a visible, almost tender flaw in Stern's old, untouchable image. Gutfeld, whether you admire him or despise him, has mastered the craft of televised combat. He's more than a political pundit, he's part late-night prankster, part demolition crew. He doesn't debate, he cuts, mimics, and unmasks. His program mixes wit, mockery, and searing critiques. Gutfeld built his platform by torching untouchables and sparking fires others avoided. So when Stern's name surfaced in one of Gutfeld's riffs, then stuck, the snare was set. What began as a sly, cool jab escalated into a deliberate, almost clinical dismantling. Gutfeld didn't merely question, he shredded Stern's persona, scorning the one-time chaos king for lecturing conformity. From a cushy penthouse perch, roll the clip. I'll be right back.
On his radio show, Howard Stern defended wokeism, saying it's a compliment when someone calls him woke. Listen.
If woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine, dude, call.
Let's be clear, this wasn't some throwaway joke. Gutfeld went in.
Let's be clear, this wasn't some casual jab. Gutfeld came in, swinging with precision. He didn't frame Stern as a pioneer. He framed him as a cautionary tale. The statement landed hard. Howard Stern, once the loud outlaw, had morphed into the very thing he used to tear down. And in Gutfeld's arena, that's the gravest sin. Selling out, softening up, slipping into the system he once battled with fire and venom. Yet, Gutfeld didn't rant or explode. He was icy, methodical, like a blade in steady hands. He sliced straight through the myth. He set the old Stern, raw, feral, untouchable, the scourge of elites and the nightmare of censors, against today's polished, smiling figure, arm in arm, with the celebrities he once mocked. Wasn't noisy. It was unervingly calm. Merciless dismantling of a reputation forged in chaos, now drifting toward acceptability. The contradiction was deafening. The man who mocked fakery was now wearing the same disguise he once ripped away. Gutfeld didn't embellish. He just exposed it. The imagery landed like a hammer. The rebel who spat on the spotlight now basked beneath its glow.
But Stern being holed up in his house that long, it explains a lot of things, like how you forget how other people live, especially in hard times like a pandemic. For the longest time, 2 years in fact, the same time Stern's been AWOL, I wondered where he went. Not physically, but mentally. I bet you did too. Remember his screeds about COVID? They were epic and angry, and not to mention wrong.
When are we going to stop putting up with the idiots in this country and just say, it's mandatory to get vaccinated? F them, f their freedom. I want my.
The man who once wore defiance like armor now seemed consumed by a single pursuit. Validation. From Hollywood. From corporations. From the very mainstream he once mocked. And that's what made it sting sharper. Gutfeld's show thrives on irreverence. On skewering the untouchable, roasting the sacred. So when he set his sights on Stern, it wasn't just banter. It was a generational reckoning. One voice accusing another of abandoning its fire. The blow landed deeper than the personal. It was philosophical. And this time, Stern stayed quiet. No comebacks, no classic rants. Only a strange, weighty silence. Gutfeld didn't have to claim the win. The silence crowned him. Viewers felt the authenticity in it, and that was the real strike. Stern, once the fiercest voice in the room, became the exposed one. And the impact was brutal. Audiences watched Gutfeld frame Stern as a faded echo of the rebel he once was. It wasn't loud. It was sharp, cold, and exact. And it cut into something bigger than fandom. It rattled anyone who's ever witnessed a rebel soften, surrender, and vanish into the establishment. The contrast between the two burned bright.
Even when I watch them on Saturday Night Live with the where they have Maya Rudolph playing you, I hate it. I don't want you being made fun of.
Oh my God.
There's too much at stake. I believe the entire future of this country right now, I mean, as America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think it's literally on the line.
So a guy who's supposed to be funny for a living now claims her candidacy is too important to joke about. This is a guy who once joked right after the Columbine massacre that the killers should have raped the students before killing them. Not that I like that Stern, but this pendulum swing from saying the most tasteless thing in the universe to putting your balls in a Tic Tac container. You got to wonder what's going on here. It's striking that the king of the most misogynistic humor ever now turns into a breathless over a progressive, hopelessly shallow candidate.
Stern carved his legend in a time when breaking the rules carried real punishment. FCC crackdowns, network bans, and furious advertisers breathing down his back. Yet every hit only made him bolder. Gutfeld, on the other hand, rose in a battlefield shaped by cancel culture, digital outrage, and social takedowns. He didn't rely on shock to win. He wielded sarcasm like a blade. He teased instead of cursed, revealed instead of raged. Their collision wasn't just two big names clashing. It was a showdown between eras of rebellion. Gutfeld embodied the new online revolt, quick, sharp, built for memes, merciless in calling out hypocrisy and firing viral shots. And the audience? They consumed it like a courtroom drama without a judge. Two media warriors, millions of watchers holding the verdict. But the deepest cut for Stern? Gutfeld never mocked his past. He praised it, and that respect, wrapped like a dagger, was the wound that stung the most.
Happy Friday, America! Oh man, tonight is a special night. It's Feminine Friday, where all the panelists are women. Tonight we have Kennedy. David McDowell. Pat Tim. And Janine Garofalo. All right. A long way for a meat joke. Okay, I hope you had a good week. I did, and no thanks to Howard Stern. True, the New York Post reported that Stern hit a chic restaurant in NYC with a crew of A-listers, including Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Aniston, Jon Hamm, Justin Theroux, Jason Bateman. I was not invited.
I suppose that's true, but Gutfeld didn't hold back, insisting the old Stern would have torn this newer, polished image apart. The man now heard on satellite radio and seen on late-night stages, sporting sleek hoodies and mingling with Hollywood royalty, barely resembled his former self. The raw Stern of years past wouldn't have recognized this version. Instead of skewering celebrities, he now traded gentle banter with them, almost like he was emceeing a fundraiser. To Gutfeld, Stern had shifted from cultural hitman to quiet media monk, subdued, styled, and oddly at peace with the world he once set ablaze. And once that frame was painted, it stuck. The fallout was instant. Clips and comments ricocheted across social feeds, fueling a storm of disbelief. The story caught fire not for shock value, but because Gutfeld had voiced what diehard Stern loyalists had muttered for years. And suddenly, one haunting question rose above the noise. Can rebellion ever truly last?